The Battle of Roosebeke, fought on November 27, 1382, was a significant conflict during the Hundred Years' War, particularly in the region of Flanders. This battle, which pitted Flemish rebels against the forces of France, was one of the defining moments in the struggle for control over the region and had lasting repercussions for both the Flemish cities and the broader dynamics of the war. Background: the Flemish Revolt. By the late 14th century, Flanders, a prosperous region in modern-day Belgium, was one of the wealthiest areas of Europe, known for its thriving textile industry and strategic location between England and France. However, the region was also a source of tension due to the control of France, which had long held dominion over Flanders through various political alliances and treaties. In 1382, Flanders erupted into rebellion, largely driven by economic grievances and political dissatisfaction. The city's guilds, particularly those of Ghent, were frustrated by high taxes, oppressive feudal control, and a lack of political representation. The rebellion, known as the Ghent Revolt, sought to break free from French influence and assert more autonomy for the Flemish cities. The revolt was partly spurred by French taxation policies and the political instability caused by the French monarchy's internal conflicts. The Battle of Roosebeke. The Battle of Roosebeke was a direct consequence of this uprising, as the rebellious Flemish cities, led by the city of Ghent, sought to defy the forces of King Charles V of France. The French, seeking to restore their authority over Flanders, responded with a military campaign to crush the rebellion. The Flemish forces, numbering around 20,000 men, were primarily composed of urban militia, archers, and mercenaries. They were led by the rebel leaders of Ghent and supported by some local nobles. The French army, which had roughly the same number of soldiers, was commanded by Louis of Maille, Count of Flanders, who was loyal to the French crown, and Robert III of Artois. The battle. The two forces clashed at Roosebeke near Kortrijk in late November. Despite being heavily outnumbered, the French forces managed to break the lines of the Flemish rebels. The French knights and professional soldiers proved superior in combat, and the poorly organized Flemish forces were quickly overwhelmed. The rebellion was decisively crushed, and the leaders of Ghent were forced to surrender. Aftermath and consequences. 1. French victory and reassertion of control. The French victory at Roosebeke effectively ended the Ghent Revolt and reasserted French authority over Flanders. The Flemish cities were forced to accept French rule and abandon their hopes of greater autonomy. The defeat had serious consequences for the rebels, many of whom were executed or exiled after the battle. 2. Impact on Flemish independence. The outcome of the battle meant that Flanders would remain under the control of the French monarchy, and the rebellious cities would have to pay tribute to France. The region's economic prosperity, however, was severely impacted by the war and the heavy-handed French rule. 3. Strengthening of French influence. The victory at Roosebeke helped solidify Charles V's influence in the region and reinforce his control over the Low Countries. It marked a significant step in France's efforts to maintain power over its territories and suppress internal dissent. 4. Tensions with England. While the battle itself did not directly involve England, the outcome further complicated relations between the French and the English during the Hundred Years' War. Flanders was a key region for English trade, and the suppression of the rebellion left the English without a strong ally in the region. This shift in power contributed to England's continued efforts to gain influence in the Low Countries in later years. Conclusion. The Battle of Roosebeke, 1382, was a key event in the Hundred Years' War, as it marked the end of the Flemish Revolt and the reassertion of French control over Flanders. The victory helped Charles V of France secure his authority in the region and dampened any hopes for Flemish independence from French rule. The battle also demonstrated the ongoing political and economic struggles in the region, highlighting the challenges posed by the long and complex conflict between England and France. The consequences of the battle resonated through the remainder of the Hundred Years' War, affecting both French and English strategies in the years to come.